Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let's Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today. Good to see you, Gale. Good to see you, Brayherd. Good to see you, Breedy Bard. Good to see you, Otto Broad. And good to see you, Clutch. Hope everyone's having a good day. I feel like I haven't streamed in a really long time for some reason, even though I was just live on Saturday, but who knows? Also, this is sagging a little. Um, yeah. I got to join in an event with the Sons of the American Revolution this weekend. We put out plaques at Trinity Church, which is an Episcopal church in downtown New York, where Hamilton is buried. There's quite a few people who were involved in the founding of America there, so we put out little plaques for the 250th anniversary of the Revolution. So that was a really cool little event. So yeah, but it's good to be back with y'all today. We're going to keep doing Clair Obscur, hoping to unobscure things, I guess. But Gale, first, congratulations. You've won the crown of Furstendom this day. Take it into the meetings with you so that you may do well in the meetings. Hope the, just imagine that. Just show up to a meeting with a crown. No explanation. Just be like, what up? Father Neon, Janice, Avon, Gillian. Oh, no. Oh no, Cruel Angel's Thesis. It's stuck in my head now. Anyway, let's dive. Oh wait, and a quick thank you and shout out to Canadian Mountie. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Hope you have a great time. All right, let's dive on in. What's the crown? Oh, this first. Nah, you don't even explain it. Also good to see you, Roxy, but you don't explain it. You're just like, yeah, it's my crown. What up? Okay, so last time we came here to the Stonewave Cliffs, which is where Esquia's rock is. Also, we met Esquia. And Esquia has superpowers. Well, that looks like big danger. That was the first amongst many, Chief.
Ooh. The 78. Maxence. Stealing the airships. But we knew we had to try, and it worked. We deserve strong leaders, not those old fools on the council hiding under the dome. Under their control, our people are condemned to a slow, inevitable extinction. Their timid half-steps achieve nothing. The answers are not in Lumiere. They are out here. Our only choice is to take matters into our own hands. Fortune favors the bold. We must forge ahead with conviction.
What up, Mel? Good to see you. Okay, so this will have... There should be like the roots or something that we can set it free. I don't see it in here. No, I wanted you to go up the rope, actually. Although there's nothing up here. Although there are the remnants of what appear to be the airships of 78. Okay, it looks like we have to go fight the big Nevron.
Nice.
Or can we just... Don't mind us, everything's fine. No, never mind, we're gonna fight you. Is your really obvious crystal that's different a weak spot? No. However, you do have some healing. Let's take care of that really quickly. Let's see. He's a rock, so I feel like rock is not going to be weak to lightning or fire. Probably weak to ice, but I don't really have ice. I guess I have thermal transfer. But maybe rock slide? Let's try rock slide. Let's see what happens.
Quake in fear.
Decent damage. Oh, right. She has the foretell. She like, uses cards, so I need to foretell. Focus foretell seems like a good thing to open with. Bad Omen also seems like a good one to open with. Let's start with focus foretell, because it gives 5 foretell.
I'm ready.
Ow. Physical, 2-6 hits, applies 1 foretell per hit, applies an additional foretell. Consumes all foretell to deal additional damage. High dark. I think that's probably what we want to go for, so... regular attack. Hey! Yeah, Kayleigh. Good to see ya. I am loving this game. It's been great.
Danger.
Bang, bang. Okay, so it is resistant to fire, like I guessed.
Take your shot.
Have you played this one, Kai? Is it Kai or K? I can't remember. I genuinely cannot remember, and I apologize.
Lady outsmarted today.
Okay, that was 3,000 damage. That was pretty good.
Let us stain them.
So maybe it will be weak to... Believe it. You're a little ahead. Nice. Yeah, it feels bad that I haven't been able to watch some of my streamer friends because they're playing it. Like, Neko just started this, and I think he's already ahead of me. And it's like, dang it!
Here we go. Here's your card. A storm is coming.
Kai with an eye sound. Okay, that's what I was leaning towards, but again, my brain was just like... "Meh." No one really needs to be healed, especially because I'm using streamer difficulty. Let's try Electrify.
Thunder.
Okay, decent damage.
I'll do it.
Ooh, who's my favorite character to play as? That's... Ah, dang it. That's tough. Especially because I don't think I have all the characters yet, so... I don't know. That's a tough one. They're all so interesting their own way.
Get ready.
I'm feeling CL's gonna be one of my favorites. I like characters with like the sort of give and take effect that she has with the foretell. Hey, love. They're all pretty cool. This is gonna be overkill.
Lady like smut.
Hey, Gustav leveled up. Confident. Take 50% less damage, but can't be healed. Ooh. I don't think I'm very confident.
We can use that.
I see shiny thing. I want shiny thing. I will not let you get in the way of shiny thing. Okay, these are really cool looking Nevrons.
Ready?
Oh! That was terrifying. The character design is really good. It's super creative and
Here's your
interesting.
card.
Plus, I do love that the uniforms are Art Deco. I am a sucker for the Art Deco, as I have discussed previously. Hey, did I mention lately how much I love Art Deco? By the way, all these magic cards that are behind me are Art Deco themed. At least I'm consistent.
Brace yourselves.
Ow, wrong button.
Do me in. Careful now.
Ooh, it's weak to dark. It's very weak to dark. That's good to know. Get off and tells me how much you like Art Deco. That is new information for me. It's very sweet. Aw. Energizing pain. Oh boy. Ooh,
Lizette,
56.
56th. In my youth, I mistook drama for passion. Simone helped me understand the difference. Opened my eyes to an entirely different way to experience the world. How can she be gone? How? How could they so callously, so nonchalantly destroy such a beautiful soul? Vile. Vile, vile! They just killed her, like she was a worthless Nevron. Those cold-blooded, treacherous, despicable parasites. But my trap worked. We caught one of those white-haired bastards. She looks human, but I know she's a monster. She refuses to speak, but I'll make her talk, and then I will feed her to a Nevron. Then the Pinterest can take me. I don't care. Nothing matters. I will have justice.
Okay, so there have been other white-haired individuals beyond just the white man. And maybe that's the woman that, oh, buttons, wrong buttons. That Maëlle has been seeing in her dreams. Let's see. Scléson or Cassion? Well, 193 to 307 power is pretty dang good. And element is dark, which things around here are weak to dark, so I think we're going to run with that. Energizing pain. No longer gain AP on parry, plus 1 AP on getting hit. That sounds like something I'd use. And just start with an extra AP. That sounds really helpful, actually. Neither of them are shielded right now. Fortunately, she does not know any spells right now that cause dark damage.
Ready.
Danger!
Oh, I didn't notice that in the first fight, but when the cultist covers their sword in blood, that does damage to them. That's such a cool little detail.
I see you.
Chroma is flowing. Quaking fear.
Yeah, I just saw some numbers when it... See, 646 then. Way too early on that one. Still way too early. She needs way more health.
Careful now. Careful now.
Ah. Getting my buttons mixed up.
Danger!
It's gonna be so much armor to work through.
Doing in.
You know what?
A storm is coming.
For those who come after.
Nice. That was some good damage.
I see you.
Run away before the other one finds us. Wait, first thing in pagoda. Or gazebo.
What have we here?
My brain always mixes those up. Also, who is wheezing around here? Oh. It is a cultist. Ah! No! I thought I'd hit R1 again.
Look out.
Get ready.
Take your shot.
I'll do it.
It's up here.
Dodge, Gustav.
So much armor. You know, the shooting mechanic in combat is way more interesting than I thought it was going to be. I'd seen it, and I was like, well, why don't you just shoot everything? It's like, ah, well, it's power rounds and limited use, etc. Ah, just way too late on that one. Chip damage, let's go.
This will be useful.
Just always play first. Okay. Well, let's take a look what we have leveled up. So, that's pretty good, but maybe let's work on something else. Burning shots I don't care that much about. Oh, whoops. Sure. What? Oh, brain. I don't know how I feel about confident or energizing pain. Like, I'm sure they're very good if you use them right, but oh, this game is so pretty. Also, it's another one of those creepy specters. It's you. I know you. What do you mean, you know us? I've seen you countless times. I've never grasped your essence. You are not from here. Both questions are great. Our essence? I can feel it, familiar yet so different. Like everything she created. Like the creature of darkness at the end of this path. It is but one of her many creations. Beautiful in its own way, but deadly. Her favorite combination. You mean the paintress? I don't know. I wish I knew. It is not like her. She was my best friend. But she outgrew us. She had more important things, more important friends. She left me behind. Boy's gone silent. Okay. I'm sorry. Parents just sent me a video of your son playing with a croc. So I guess those shoes are gonna be a hit with Gen Beta too. Apparently. I've never actually worn Crocs, but I hear they are really comfortable. Let's get a little more vitality on you and a little more defense, a little more agility. I want to keep your agility high, but I think you need a lot more vitality. It's all pretty squishy. More vitality for you, and more agility. Let's see. Ooh. Gustav can learn a skill. Shatter deals high lightning damage to enemies. One hit can break. If target is broken by the hit, overcharge is fully charged. I like the sound of that. Think I'd like that more than... Probably more than from fire, to be honest. Applies defenseless. Deals medium single damage. Reapplies current stance. And okay. Is he there? Breaking rules. You have me interested. Deals single low target physical damage, 2 hits. Destroys all target shields. That sounds very useful. In certain situations, like right now. So. Maybe replace Swift Stride. I kind of like doing Floret. Or no, per se into Floret. Just something else. There's something with the virtuous stance that I was doing, I recall. Yeah, you don't have enough points yet, and you don't have enough points yet. Why don't we swap the party around a little? We'll change Lune in for Mael. Did that apply? Yeah, it did. Nice. I wasn't sure how that would work with the party on just like the exploration screen, but I like that it doesn't change it. So I can keep using Lune's ability to fly. Oh dear. Do I think that purple thing's going to be worth it? Gonna try. Okay, that does pretty good damage there. Virtuous. Plus 200% damage dealt. Nice. Yeah, so it was per se into Fleuret. I didn't have a follow-up from that, but I have a feeling I could probably do something where it's like if you're in Virtuous stance, you then get to do extra damage or something. Gustav, just smack him. And Gustav just leveled up again.
This will be useful.
Ooh, yes, that was worth it. Don't think Gustav will... Yeah, he will not have 10 skill points available all of a sudden.
A shrine to the paintress.
The paintress destroyed our world. And someone built her a shrine.
The weak-minded turn to whatever they can to explain the unknown.
When you're at the mercy of a power you don't understand, you might try anything.
What if it was built before the rupture that she caused? Meep Mass Invisalign! Be whatever you want him to be. Yeah, I've already fought some of you. I know you're not that hard. I have not come to bring peace but joy division.
Well.
Oh, it's bad.
I see you.
That's bad, Mel. I love it. No, no, no. Greatsword cultists. That's okay. I'll go the other direction. Man, a lot of expeditions here.
Lucille of the 50th. Our beautiful wheel. Wedged upon the rocks. A casualty of the massive serpent of the sea. But even shattered, its presence is still comforting. Adrian and Gabriel are doing their best to sustain morale, but with no food, no clean water, no way to fix the wheel, our fate is quite clear. Well, to me at least. But I have no desire to hold back the hopes of others. Perhaps. Perhaps we will find a way back. Still. These moments of quiet, sitting on the beach, are also a source of contentment. All our lives we've been running, trying to outrace time, trying to reach an unreachable goal. And now we can finally rest. At least we got to see some of the wonders of this world. Even the serpent, cruel as it is a deadly elegance that is mesmerizing. But oh, what other marvels might we have seen had we been able to keep rolling? I sometimes wonder what it would have been like to grow up outside the dome. Perhaps even live amongst the Nevrons. Could we have achieved a form of peace? Or even prospered alongside them?
Okay, but the real question is, why do you have a French or a Irish accent?
What have we here?
There it is, 33. And yeah, this is the one. This is the giant Ferris wheel that they use to ride across the water. Which I wish I could see in action, because that's such a whimsical idea of transportation. Hearing all sorts of noises that I don't like. And I'm pretty sure I just went in a circle. Yes, I did. There's something on top of the rock over here. Oh, whoops. Oh well, I have the I go first ability.
Not today. It's locked on you.
Okay. Go down. So, I'm gonna do a normal attack here, but Mael has breaking rules.
Take down that shield.
Yeah, let's go, Mael.
Careful now, Gustav.
Roadster. Today is a classic gospel, the rich young man.
Precise strike.
Wherein he asks Jesus, like, what do I need to do to gain eternal life? And Jesus like, follow the commandments. He's like, I do that.
Ready
What
to
else?
carry.
And so Jesus like, well, sell everything you have and give it to the poor and then follow me. And the rich young man went away sad. That's a fairly ambiguous ending that actually leaves us a lot of space to consider possibilities and sort of put ourselves into that. Rude. You know, maybe he didn't. Maybe he struggled and he kind of succeeded, kind of didn't. Maybe he completely succeeded. We don't know. And that's, but he gives us this great example of it's okay to struggle with what faith calls us to do sometimes. You know, it's, that's the reality of our world and who we are. And, you know, it's not nothing to be ashamed of. It just is what it is.
Careful now. Zoom in.
Actually, if I do that, I can't do that.
I see you. Careful now. Not today.
Wrong timing. See if we can get it right this time. Nope.
Well, well.
Let's
that one's marked. I may as well. Ah, I always forget that that first one
Gustav, don't
can avoided by jumping. And we're bust.
Perfect.
Apply powerful when falling 50% below 50% health. That's actually pretty helpful.
Great.
Is there gonna be another expedition flag soon? I feel like there should be. You know, the Giant's Causeway that leads to the roof of your neighbor's house. They did such a good job with the art direction of this game and the surrealness of it all.
Nice.
Ah, see? Flag. Have you got a flag? Well, I think your agility and your might's probably... Peter claimed the peak for Texas last night. He reached the peak? That's awesome. Well done on him. Also, why is he doing a 24-hour stream? You died in the last area? Oh, no! Deals dark to all enemies. Consumes 1 foretell per hit for increased damage. Okay. Dark cleansing. Cleanses an ally of status effects. Ooh. Yeah, that sounds really useful. We saw the end. Oh, no. So close and yet so far. Yeah, let's swap that out. I don't know why my mouse just always shows up whenever I swap menus in this game. Mayhem consumes all stains to deal high elemental damage to the target. Can break if 4 stains are consumed. Okay. Sounds like a good finishing move, as it were. If I can generate the right stains. I'm gonna... ditch Electrify. I feel like I don't really use it that much anyway.
Looks like a farm.
Like old times, eh?
Do you not have
This'll be useful.
farms in Lumiere? Where do you get your food from? This feels like a secret area. Now that's at least one of the flyers down.
Marielle.
Get ready.
Careful now.
Yeah, I missed. I actually missed. Too early.
Do me in.
Dang it, I don't have enough food per se. You know, I bet this game is generated. It's his birthday 24 hours. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy he's celebrating, but like, oh, I don't know. I just thought of doing 24 hours myself. It's just like, oh. I'm scared to do 12. I will do 12 when I hit 500, but I'm still scared. You accidentally did 24 hours? I believe you, but also...
Careful now. Here we go.
I wasn't going to say it that way, but kind of. You are great, though, Mel. But, ooh, look at the shop. This place is beautiful. It is unsettling. That's a great way to describe this game. It's not time to dwell on nature's beauty. Yeah, it's time to trade stuff. I am not ready to fight any of these merchants. Ooh. That'd be useful. Ponytail. Sure, I have 35,000. Like, part of me wants to do the whole, like, find the front, the like, mime outfits. Okay, I don't see a huge difference, to be honest. I guess her hair's in more of like a bun and a messy... Anyway. Like, I've seen the mime outfits, and they're great, but, like, I don't know. The expedition uniform is just so cool.
Great.
Mime outfits are overrated. Everyone ran them. Yeah. Oh, that's one of those... I fought one of those earlier. Wait, I think I have an idea. Because it has a ton of armor. But I have... I forget her name. She has an ability to remove all armor. So maybe I can take this out. No! Come back here! It's running because it knows I have its weakness. Oh, that was baloney. I totally had it. Right? It feels like I'm hitting it. Okay, that time I didn't, but maybe what I'm supposed to do is, because when it gets here, it'll bounce back and forth between the two. Or it did last time. Get back here, golden orb. Sneak up on it? Maybe? I don't know, it seems kind of omniscient in its own little area. See, I got close and it's still like, haha, nope. Be very, very quiet. We're hunting orb. Well, orb hasn't gone down there before. Ah, there's a dead end. What, to fight the Patonk? Summons another Nevron. Patonk will flee in 4 turns. Okay. Well. Gustav, why don't you just take out the other one really quickly?
Try me.
Ah. I forgot entirely how those attack.
I see you. Finesse and grace.
Only 24 damage. Will it be weaker now that that other one is gone? Yes. Are you serious? So long as there's a Nevron, it's pretty well defended.
Get ready.
So I guess that's where I really need to focus on my counter abilities. So unfortunately, killing something on Gustav's turn is a bad idea. I don't think I'm going to get this Patonk. But I'm learning.
Let's spill some ink.
Get dogged. Oh, Patonk did not summon something this time. But Patonk will flee, so if I don't just, like...
Here's your card.
massively damage the Patonk.
those who come after.
Oh, that was actually pretty good. That was actually pretty good. I hope the Petonks respawn. Oh, it's a big fight. So these two things are weak to dark. I have plenty of dark damage with CL and Mael.
I see you.
Finesse and grace.
Virtuous stance. Why did she go into defensive stance there? I thought Pese was supposed to put her into...
Look out.
I forgot about the third attack.
I see you.
En garde. Gustav, don't die.
Dang it.
Try me.
Eins, zwei, drei. Ah, I missed the dry.
Well, well.
Yeah, per se. Low physical damage, one hit. Oh, is it if they're marked, they go into the she goes into virtuous stance. Oh, okay. So I need something that will... that could give her mark. Which I suppose I do have, like, one of these guns can apply mark. Or some ability I have applies mark, I should say.
I guess it's okay.
Please survive. En garde.
Ah, yes. She already has it. So shoot first, then stab with Mael. I just got so distracted. Woo! I hope distracted in a good way. Game's going good. Getting stuck on a fence. This looks like a way forward. 'Cause, That looks like the real way forward, so this looks like treasure.
Nice.
Oh yeah, okay, so that's where we were chasing that thing earlier. You know, this whole game gives off a vibe of, like, almost like a child's playroom with how disheveled everything is. Like, we are but toys in this room, and abandoned and incomplete and trapped in stone. Quite the situation I'm in, right? If you don't say something in the next few seconds, I shall knock myself to sleep. How did this happen? I do not exactly know, but I can certainly guess. It has to do with the mistress. Perhaps you could tell us a bit more? Oh, you want to know more? Just a moment. I'm wondering what I could ask in exchange. You're not really in a position of power here. Poor threat, sadly. In my weak and incomplete state, anything could kill me at this point. The others, they possess shiny, shimmering rocks glistening on their back. Why I lack the same luster I do not know, but it maddens me. We could potentially help you with that. I hope you can. The cavern might be your best bet. I bet if you find 3 of those lustrous rocks, oh, I will be magnificent. Okay, so find some rocks for the Nevron. Why are we helping a Nevron? Oh, that's not right. This game, I put this in the title, but this game really does have some tonal shifts. You know, like last week, you know, well, 2 weeks ago when we started, you know, the opening Gomage scene and just like everyone on the beach and everything. And then the second week, it's like, oh, here's Esquier, ha ha ha. And it's like, what? And it's not unrealistic to life. I mean, life has its own weird tonal shifts. So it's just like, looking back on it, I'm like, huh. Death. Comedy! Exactly. Death. Weird monster that wants rocks. The lighting looks so good. I feel like there's going to be a secret hidden in all this darkness, but it doesn't look it. Funny expedition about not eating purple mushrooms after an immortal survives eating them. Yeah, exactly. Oh, we are going way down. Is this Goblin Town? Hey, buddy, can you give me directions? The expedition's the here for the mines. Oh, hello, cultist. Oh, and I didn't even see that one there.
I see you.
I'm ready.
Get ready.
Okay, take out one of those.
Blades sharpened.
Careful now.
No, not more shielding. The Cultisari does enough shielding of their own.
Look out!
Look out.
Guard up!
You're only delaying the inevitable, Hexka. Because I'm breaking the rules.
Take down their shields.
For those who come after.
Careful now.
Right, it was a 3-hit combo.
Finesse and grace. Finesse and precision.
Is it finesse and grace or is it finesse and precision? Make up your mind. Mel.
Gustav, don't die.
Well, well.
Hey, look, it's a rock.
Perfect.
There we go, that's one. So that looks like the way forward, so that's probably the way to treasure. And a fight. Oh boy. One of my least favorite flyers. Oh, why did I do that? I guess it puts marks on them, but...
Precise strike.
Hey! 9,999 damage! Let's go!
lovely.
I'm gonna have to use so much of that when I get to my next camp.
Nice.
Okay, so that's where we just wait. No. Oh, that's not a rope. That's a street lamp. Okay. It had the same orange glow as a rope, which is a weird sentence. Oh goody, platforming. This is usually the weakest part of this game, is the platforming.
Great.
50% increased break damage with free aim shots. Nice. There's a third crystal, and there's a purple thing.
We can use that.
Oh, come on. Why do you have a health bar? Enemy, please explain. Okay, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. Hey, rock crystal, let's go. Hey, look, a rope that goes further down. Ooh. This game, the exploration abilities in this game, or options, really starting to open up, and that's terrifying, because we have 2 different ways forward right now. But first, let's return the rock crystals to this Nevron. I'm sure it can't possibly go poorly for us. Like an extra boss fight or something. It's also odd that there's not a skill attached to magic use. You know, like intelligence or wisdom or something. Is this what you were looking for? Oh, mistress, this luster, yes. Would you mind inserting them on my back? Hope we will regret this. I hope so too. Growl. Oh, the ecstasy. Look at me. I am perfect. And you're into the bargain? Of course, I have not forgotten. But surely, you can first let me enjoy this. Ah, the bliss.
Great.
Auto shell. Apply shell for 3 turns at the start of battle. At the start of battle. That's really nice. Shining, shimmering, glistening, shining, shimmering. Wonder. No, wait. Exactly how I wanted it. And of course we can attack him. Tell me about your mistress. Ah, our mistress. She is loving, She made us with great pride and care. However, there are times when even she makes mistakes. I am living proof of that. Oh, mistress, forgive. I did not mean to speak ill of you. Please forgive me. Why does it have trouble speaking now? We passed a shrine to the paintress. Do you know who made it? Did any of them survive? No. A long time ago they came. They spoke as if they knew the mistress. They revered her, but what they spoke of, the paintress, her description, did not match the mistress.
So, does that mean the paintress has multiple forms?
More likely, she has allies or lieutenants, like the man on the beach.
But the paintress is the mistress. I want to explore that, the danger hole with the rope. Where was that? That was over this way. Gotta make it past this cultist. Oh, everything's respawned down here. That's not fair. You know, maybe, just maybe on second thought, it was a bad idea to come down this way. Oh, but that's a door to the mansion. I don't think I'm gonna win this fight, but we can try. Oh, she's not even gonna talk to us. She's gonna charge in. Oh yeah, she's weak to dark. We got this.
Precise strike.
Gold Chevalier.
Here we go.
Eyes don't lie.
Ah, so close. Boop. Perilous parry. +1 AP on parry, but damage received is doubled. Again. Probably really good and useful
Nice.
if you're good at this game. Probably remove some of these to level up some other things. Like, I think... Let's replace SOS Shell with Auto Shell. I want to keep Augmented Attack until I can get that applied to him with Illumina. I don't actually use her base attack that much, so... Everything else looks fine. Let's examine the wardrobe. It's an awesome wardrobe. Okay. Okay, so it's just one outfit for Mael. So is this supposed to be Mael's room? Yeah, I guess that's Mael's room. So I have a feeling there's going to be a room for each of them that will have their own outfit.
Well, that will help.
Okay, so it was worth it coming down into the danger hole. Bad cultist. Oh no, there's two of them. Oh, and there's one of those things. Ugh.
Take them down.
Let's mark that one.
I'm ready.
Mael, why don't you just... Why don't you just finish that one off so that we don't have to worry about it.
Please survive. This will hurt.
Too early.
Ready to parry.
Well, well.
Please be marked. Thank you. And now I don't have enough to do per se.
Parry it.
I'm sure it's been done by now, but I wonder how long it took someone to do their first no-hit run of this game.
Nice.
And if anyone in chat says they did it on their first try, I will be pressing X to doubt.
sense something scary.
Okay. Good to see Eskia. Hello, squirrel. We're doing well. Ooh, new abilities. Ooh, that plays off well off of defensive stance. Do I get Mr. Much? Not anymore. In fact, it kind of makes me chuckle because, like, you know, sometimes when you're boarding a plane, they'll be like, "Oh, welcome, you know, Mr. So-and-so. Welcome, Mr. Cummings. Welcome, Mr. Evan." And it's like, oh, it's probably like one of the few times I actually get called Mr. Is you there? See, that's, well, that's last chance. I don't need that. Replace current stance gives 2 different... Ooh, that sounds really useful, actually, especially... so that I can go from I can go into Flore Fury on turn 2, into Pierce on turn 3. So where that color thing, yeah, I mean, basically any time that, like, someone's going to use a title, odds are it's at an event where I'll be wearing my collar, and so, you know, I don't know, just happens. How long have I been a priest? I've been ordained for 6 years now. Ooh, Firing Shadow, dark to all enemies. Consumes 1 foretell per hit for increased damage. So that's like... That's very much like Bad Omen, except it doesn't apply foretell, it eats foretell, but it does do damage to all, which... still pretty good. Might replace that with... Got time for a religion question? Always. Thank you, love. This year I celebrate 11 years of being in religious life. 7 years of being in final profession, 7 years of being a deacon, and 6 years of being a priest. Why is that one purple? Why is Song of Solomon's in the Bible? Because it's beautiful. The exact reason why is because it was chosen to be part of the canon by the bishops of the very early church. And I think the reason why is that, A, it was already established tradition within the Hebrew Israelite, or Hebrew Jewish religious expression. Ugh. This thing is horrifying. And so, like, what they had received has been handed on to them. Hold on, I gotta...
Okay. Hurry up.
Yeah, so, like, it had been handed on. Now, I get that, you know, maybe it's like... But this is pretty... it's pretty sexually explicit in some ways. And I think that's actually ultimately a good thing, because it's reminding us that, you know, our human sexuality is a gift from God, and in many ways is a way to bring people together in marriage. And so, but also that it is a metaphor for how God is in relationship with his people, with the church. So there's this great intimacy that is found in there. So I think that's why it's there. You know, it's not that we need to shy away from those kind of things. I mean, there's a time and a place, but it's a beautiful thing, and it can speak profound depths to God's love for us. I actually know a monastery where at night prayer they always read a chapter of the Song of Songs, and it's only like 8 chapters long, so they do it basically every week. Yeah, I think that's beautiful. And you know, there's an option in the wedding rite to use a Song of Songs reading that has the great line, "Stern as death is love," and I love that line. I think it's amazing. I think it's beautiful. But I think it does speak ultimately both to the beauty and goodness of human intimacy as well as what kind of intimacy God has for us. So, does that help a little bit, Squirrel? Don't worry about the explicit verses. I can confirm the parts are pretty. I guess the difference between it and the rest of the wisdom books for you are like Psalms and prayers, Proverbs for life advice. Same for Ecclesiastes. I know there's a historical case for validating Solomon that made some songs, but as far as wisdom or theological value, it feels a little off to me, and that's fair. And if that's what you feel, like I can't change that in a sense. Like that's what we feel is perfectly valid in and of itself. But I will say that from a theological angle, it is understood as, by being divinely inspired scripture, that it has this value beyond just what the words are saying, and that the depth of that is the way that it speaks of God's love for humanity, for the church, for his people. So in that sense, there is a lot of wisdom and depth to it. It's just, admittedly, it's not as obvious as like a proverb, you know.
Here's your card.
I think I'm no expert in the Song of Songs, but based on what I know, I think that reading of it being like God in relationship to humanity is a pretty old reading in a sense. Like it's a very ancient understanding.
One more tricks. Blades sharp. Finesse and precision.
Ooh, that's bad. So the theological value. Oh, hold on, sorry. I didn't realize we were walking into a boss fight quite so soon when you asked the question. Oh, look, that's perfect. So theological value that you're talking about was validating, while euphemistically called for nature, no, they're inherently sinful. I guess I must have missed the parts where you were talking about God's relation to humanity. Ah, okay. Yeah, and it's both and. It's, you know, and that's the great thing about Scripture is it's multivalent, right? Like, we can understand it on so many wonderful levels and draw something out of each and put them into dialogue with each other. You know, so, but yeah, I think at its greatest depth as a piece of wisdom literature is that piece about God's love for us, that God is the bridegroom in that. And I think that ties in really strongly with a lot of the imagery that Christ uses when he says, you know, when he uses like the parables of the bridegroom, you know, Christ the bridegroom as a title. So can't gain AP, that honks.
useful.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. Why is it in there? And I hope that answers, you know, that at the core of it is God's love for us. Which is one of those things that we can never overestimate. It's like, God is love, as the first letter of John tells us.
Spill some ink.
Careful now.
Careful, Mike.
Hurry!
I'm waiting.
For those who come after.
Ooh, and it's broken. Has 10 for tell. Maybe firing shadows the thing to use here. So that's the only thing I have that consumes tell, I guess.
Precise strike.
The POVs in the book confuse you, I'll admit, since went into it now with a
Easier
whole
than
lot of
expected.
understanding.
Hey, don't jinx us. No need to invite misfortune.
I don't see any stones.
What's happening?
It seems like the gender changed a bit. Where's God in these? Ooh.
Misfortune.
Oh, that thing's just not right. Ooh, silence. That's not good. Yeah, and yeah, the perspective is complicated in it because it's, you can think of it kind of as a duet, as a song. Like, it does bounce back and forth between the husband and the wife in the immediate narrative. God is kind of all of it. It's like God is saying all of it to us. It's, you know, and I think we can look at it in different ways and understand ourselves just in that relationship and in light of the readings. But yeah, it is kind of weird reading it the first time, being like, what? It's going all over the place. God, yeah, God is addressing both, and God is speaking as both. You know, God is... I think that's the great but confusing thing about a lot of that style of ancient literature is it's like, oh, well, we appear to have three speakers. Who are they? They're all God. Oh. Okay. You know, which is wonderful and beautiful, but also, like, a lot to take in. You'll try rereading it next time and hopefully that'll flow better. I hope so too. I hope that helped, and ultimately, I think a good question to take into reading any part of Scripture is, what is God trying to tell me? What is God trying to tell humanity? What is God trying to tell the world? Like what is... Because that's really at the heart of it, like being divinely inspired by the Holy Spirit. It is a way that God speaks to the world. So it's, how is God speaking to me, is a perfectly valid form of prayer to take to it. Nearly done within your Bible in a year of reading plan. It is a short read. So I don't have much left to read, but yeah, what I've got left I'll do in earnest. Hey, that's great. And I think you took the other half of, because I'm going to guess you're about halfway through, just for commentary's sake. You probably took the first half earnestly as well. And just because now you have a greater understanding of the context and its role and theology doesn't mean that you didn't take the other stuff earnestly. It's just now you can take it even deeper. So,
Eyes don't lie.
Get ready. Both and. Ah. Same pattern as before. Oh, I don't think I hit that. I did not. Dang it. There we go. You have completed the lamp trial. It's not marked. There we go, thank you. Now I don't have enough for per se. After you get done with the first chapter, you just went, what? That's valid. I did feel bad because the the monastery that reads it at night prayer, I was there with them once and praying it. There's a line in there that made me chuckle because of the image. It's like, your legs are like trunks of trees or something like that. And it conjured the image of like someone walking around with just like palm trees as legs that I found very comical, and I had to really suppress a laugh. And I felt bad because A, it's a really beautiful reading, but B, it just seemed poor timing. The calves. Yeah. I do love, though. The very first wedding I did is, well, technically the second, but the first wedding where I prepared the couple and did the wedding. The couple met with me and they brought back we used to hand out like these little booklets that have like all the readings in them. And she's like, okay, so what do you want for the first reading? She's like, this one from the Song of Songs. Stern as death is love. That's so metal. Like, yeah. She was so excited about it. So of course I worked it into the homily. I just remember how excited she was to say that's the one she wanted. Okay, left, right, bottom, top. Oh, she won't have enough to do it anyway. So, nor will see L. Gustav, you're up. That was bottom, top, right? Yep. I have solved your lamp riddle. Dang it. Hey, Romans. How you doing today? Deal 50% more damage if health is below 10%. Ooh. I'd rather not be that low.
Is it really dead?
Looks like it.
Is this it?
Oh, Flory. All right. Ready to sail like a snail. Just jump, mes amis. It's not that high.
We can finally cross the sea.
You don't happen to have some wine stashed away, do you?
Wine?
Hey, you can do this.
I hate water.
She doesn't seem that far now, does she?
Yeah. Wanna throw one more rock?
The others are waiting, but...
You might reach her.
Okay. Ooh, what about that one?
Does it really matter?
Well, you know, like I always say, it's not about the rock. It's more about...
Gustav.
Run.
Run. Please run.
Why? Why are you doing this?
I don't foresee this going well. That was an intense
We've
scene.
done nothing to you. We should be on the same side. Let her go.
Something's going on up there.
Esquier, get us up there! Fuck, fuck, fuck!
Language, 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 but... Oh dear. This is terrifying that he's not doing anything. Gustav lived?
For those who come after. Right?
No. You promised! No.
You won't yet understand. But this is a kindness, not a cruelty.
You let her come. You know she's too weak for this. How could you let her take such a risk?
You only care when things are right in front of you. My sweet child, you were supposed to stay home. I told you not to worry. But since you're here now, just stay put.
What are you saying? You must go home, now. This does not involve you.
When this is over, we'll go home together.
No!
This won't make sense to you now. But we both want what's best for our families. I'm sorry you're caught in the middle, but I did try to warn you. It's been a while. Stay out of this. You chose to walk away. You don't get to come back now and interfere.
You've lived more than a lifetime. It's time to let her go.
A lifetime. A lifetime with my family torn apart. No. I want my family back.
It's not your family. But she is.
Ah.
You would use her.
She chose to come. I didn't make the rules between you two. Hey. You alright? It's okay. I'll handle things here. Get back to your friends. Go.
So that's it. You've set us down this path. But are you ready for the consequences?
She'll never paint again.
Dang. What a cutscene. Oh my goodness.
Last time we sat together like this.
In Lumiere, mourning our parents.
Seems like every time we're together, it's to grieve. I wish we could have spent more time in less hopeless contexts.
The plan doesn't change. We aim for the monolith. We keep heading north. With SKA's help, we can make it. But we lost the Lumina converter, so...
It's okay, we can think about that later.
All the backups were destroyed by that man, but Expedition 32 will bring more. Their chances will be better. We need to prepare them. I should update our journals.
Hey. It's okay. tomorrow will still come.
Ciel.
This seemed important. If you want to reach the monolith, best path is through the quarry up north.
Who are you?
And where did you get that expedition uniform?
Strange way to say thank you. I'm sorry I couldn't save your friend. I'm wearing an expedition uniform because I, too, am an expeditioner.
What? What do you mean you're an...
I've never seen you before.
First expedition. Expedition Zero.
Expedition Zero? But how are you alive and not...
Old? I don't know exactly, but some of us stopped aging and were not affected by the gamage.
Some of you? Like the man on the cliff?
Anwar, our commander.
Why?
Oh.
Why did he massacre our team?
How could he turn on his own people?
He believes his immortality is a gift from the Paintress. Killing her would kill him too, and he enjoys living forever.
And you don't?
Burying everyone you know what you live on can weigh you down a bit. I couldn't help your friend, but perhaps I can help you.
You want to join us?
If you don't mind the company, yes.
So, if I want to kill Renoir, I have to kill the Paintress first. What's your name?
Versa.
It's an amazing way to end Act 1. Dang. A lot happened there. A lot happened. I was not anticipating them killing off a character, let alone Gustav, so early in the game, which is odd considering the context and the gommage and what happened on the beach, but that was emotionally gut-wrenching. And I do appreciate that SKA there didn't just go, ha ha ha, but it was pretty silent, actually, after that scene, because otherwise, again, sometimes the tonal whiplash of this game can be a bit weird. Yeah, good to see you, Hope, by the way. Do you want to say hi during the cutscene? Yeah, wow. That sets up a really... more context. We know who Renoir is. A little bit more about Expedition Zero and, like, what happened and, like, what's kind of mystically going on, for lack of a better word, in the world. Oh. The writing is good in this game. That was... Whew. That's going to be... I'm going to sit with that one for a while. We are going to take a commercial break. We should have taken a commercial break during the middle of the boss fight, but, you know, that's so fun. So, yeah, get a chance to get up, stretch your legs, get a drink of water, do what you need to do, and we'll be back in about 3-ish minutes. And we are back. And yeah. What do you do after that?
Mon ami. Oh, you've put on a lot of weight.
I could say the same for you, you giant marshmallow. Bet you lost your stones again.
You know me. But now you're here. We can go find them.
Yeah, buddy. We'll find them. Tell me, did you tell them about... you know what?
Oh, Maman's the word. I promised.
Great. I'm counting on you.
Always, mon ami.
No, I'm good. I want to talk to others. Why is SKA keeping secrets?
Expedition Zero left 67 years ago, which would make you...
About 100. Yeah.
Tell me about the fracture.
I'm not gonna get much sleep tonight, am I?
Mm-hmm. Expedition Zero left...
About 100.
Tell me about the...
I'm not gonna...
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping that might lead into a different conversation. Let's upgrade some resources, because I think... Yeah, I have a revive sense to use. I only have 8 color of Lumina? I thought I had more than that. Let's get everyone up to level 22. Okay, so Verso... Okay, so unsurprisingly, he uses the same swords as Gustav. But his own is much better. Hey, Quixotic. Oh yeah, no, loving this game, but there is also a bit of that total whiplash of going from, you know, gut-wrenching scene and mourning to SKA. No, she can't learn anything. He, however, can learn lots of things. Does a lot of physical damage. Let's set his abilities. Marking shot. I think I want... Probably perfect break. Blitz, why not? And purification. It's good that you feel it. Yeah, I believe it. It's... I mean, that's life for you. It happens. But they've done a very good job making you feel invested in these characters.
I'm really sorry I didn't arrive sooner. He was your brother?
Something like that.
Losing family is difficult.
I know. I know what you're going to say. You want to offer your condolences. You want to say something comforting. But I don't need it. I've had enough condolences. I've lost so many families now. I just need... Can you please go?
Oh, you're right. I did forget to spend time with SKA. Also good to see Ariam. I'll do that next time. Oh, that's a great question, Grahotic. Yeah, no, as a priest, I have been with a lot of people in a lot of difficult spaces and in their mourning. And it doesn't wear you down. It does tire you out in the moment, you know, because there's that sense of giving of yourself, and you know it's emotionally tiring, and that's not a bad thing. It is what it is. But the most useful thing that you can do sometimes is to say nothing at all. As weird as that sounds, sometimes just sitting in silence with someone can go a lot longer than any words you could possibly say. And you don't always have to have an answer. Like, you know, you don't have to have a condolence or a platitude. You know, you can just sit with someone and say, yeah, this sucks. You know? And sometimes acknowledging that emotion can go a lot farther. Now you have to kind of know when and how to do it. You know, were that these things were so simple, we probably wouldn't have these kind of questions, but we actually undergo intentional parts of our formation for the priesthood focusing on this. So I spent 2 semesters when I was at CUA working 1 day a week in a hospital. I would go and I'd visit patients, and I'd talk about it, and then we have to write up sort of reports that we'd share in a class, and we'd talk about how it went, what we want to do better, how we could do better, what's going on inside of us. And then I did a summer intensive where I spent a whole summer at a hospital as a chaplain. And so every morning we'd have a didactic session where it was like me and a cohort of about 5 others who were studying to be ministers in their own various traditions. And we would do some reading, do some reflection, you know, go over those kind of reports over patients, then all afternoon spend it with patients. So I spent a whole summer doing that. So that's basically a whole year dedicated to just that kind of training. So, you know, and I'm not an expert in it. I would not even pretend to be an expert in it. But, you know, yeah, that's a great question. Does it wear us down?
Head for the monolith.
Sometimes,
through the quarry
but
to the north.
not in a way that says never to do this again, if that distinction makes sense.
Let us get wet.
Here's a great big ol' Nevron over there, and that spells danger. And there's a giant Nevron in the sky over there. That's just horrifying.
Everyone okay?
Forgotten battlefield. Oh boy.
You'll get used to them. We're going to see a lot more.
If we hurry,
I
we can
thought you
cross
said you
before
buried
nightfall.
everyone.
Wait. Could we bury Gustav?
I wish we could, but protocol is to keep moving. Gustav would understand.
We can look for a suitable place along the way, yeah? We'll find a nice spot.
Actually, there is a place. Past the quarry, out of sight of the painters. A tranquil haven. Protected by magnificent trees. I think you'll approve.
Lead the way.
Let me show you something.
Tutorial time? Learn how to use, Verso? Gradient counter. So enemies can cast gradient attacks. Gradient attacks are powerful and can only be defended with a gradient counter.
Verso, dodge!
This RT for a gradient counter. Two attacks is hardly relentless.
Ready to strike.
Versus perfection. Verso gains perfection every time he deals damage or manages to parry or dodge. A higher perfection rank increases his damage. Some skills have additional effects. Taking damage removes one perfection. Oh boy. I'm not going to be very good at playing as Verso.
Here we go.
Let the ink flow. Lightning strike!
Verso, dodge!
All right.
Any other tricks we should know?
One thing at a time.
I was actually going to make my party CL instead of Lunaric for a while. Just shake things up. Oh, did I? I just realized with Verso. Well, he has some Luminas equipped, I guess, so that's good. Seems a good one to equip, just universally. I expected at least like a little bit of chroma up there. The lighting looks so good. Does this game run well? It seems to run well for me, but I have a pretty beefy computer, so I don't know if that really says much.
These are all expeditions?
A single Nevron took out most of them.
A single
Is it
Nevron.
still around?
I've only seen it once, many years ago, so most likely not.
Nice.
What am I rocking? Some sort of Ryzen CPU. $4,000 series NVIDIA, and then 64 gig of RAM, I think. I forget all the exact specs.
Let's dance.
Eyes don't lie.
Finesse and grace.
I don't remember off the top of my head, Squirrel. Even as a state attorney, I feel I'm just numb to trying to offer consolation. I can only imagine a priest has to run out of emotional energy. Yeah, and that's, you know, and that's the things like that's where a lot of the intentional self-care comes in. Like knowing your limits, knowing what happens when you're kind of out of energy and like how you can still minister. And also trusting in the grace of God to be able to act in and through you. You know, because I'm not always going to say the right thing or the perfect thing. I wouldn't pretend to, but... Ow, I pressed the wrong button by accident.
Not impressed.
Here we go.
But, you know, I believe that there is grace in what I do and how God has called me to be in it, so I trust in Him to help me in it.
damaged.
It's locked on you. Here we go.
You're using a 3070? I mean, the 3000s are still really good.
No more tricks.
On guard!
Shame the 59ers are fire hazards. I mean, yeah. Why does my graphics card have its own electrical outlet?
Here's your card.
Not impressed.
I mean, at least it's not a... What was it, Galaxy 7? Was that the one that was always bursting into flames? Same game, same time. I started streaming it first. Like the cables are literally melting the 5090s. Oh no, I hadn't heard about that. I thought you were just saying because of the power draw they have, and which is insanely high. So, you know. Any theories about what is happening with this game so far? I thought I knew, and then things just got weirder. Because, like, part of me was like, like, obviously I know that Mael is adopted, right? And so I was like, oh, is Mael the paintress's daughter? Like, is there another painter out there that we don't know of yet? But then, like, that last interaction, I don't know. This guy who's stepping around. You're not a goose. I mean, the whole theme of painting and its name, Troubadour,
Okay.
is implying to me a certain level of that.
Here we go.
And I think the nature of this game as well, but the use of the word Clair Obscur, Gommage, obviously Paintress, makes it feel like we're in a painting itself. It was the Galaxy Note 7s. Yeah. That was the time to be traveling on an airplane.
Here we go. Just try it.
I don't want your trumpet concerto. Ow. I'm working right now who sound like they're farting. The trumpeter. He's got a vuvuzela.
Oh well.
A possible Dante reference? Ooh. I hadn't thought of that.
Oh well.
I'm ready.
Here we go.
Let's dance. On me.
Wrong. Wrong block. Mortal hit. Okay. I pressed the right button that time.
My help. Time to hit big. This and
Powerful.
precision.
Virtuoso Sans Lorette.
Let's
Yes,
carve a
please.
path. I'll use your fire.
It's a shame he won't heal there, but
Here we go.
no, no, it's okay. No, 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 no. Oh, no, no. I do not want any of what you were selling today, good sir.
Nice.
Yeah, Dharma Dom. It's going well. We're making progress here. We had some sadness earlier with the character death. It was a really well done scene.
An advantage.
Nothing like a good death. Yep.
Ready to strike.
Fortunately, I don't think I have anything for him that's a hit everything.
Ready to strike.
Eyes don't lie.
Oh well.
Oh, you haven't seen this game? Oh, it's like all the hotness on Twitch maybe about a month and a half ago when it first came out. It's very good.
Ready.
Do not mess with Mayo.
Here's your card.
On guard.
Yeah, the animation's great. The writing is great. The art style is great. The music's great. I love this game.
Well, that will help.
Why do I feel like I'm going to have to climb that tower? Maybe I won't. It just kind of feels like it. No, that's okay. No, 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 no. Okay, that door doesn't open. So probably where we just noped out of is where we have to go. So we'll do the pocket sand.
Here's your card.
Just try it.
Ah! I always forget the timing on that second one.
Here we go.
Eyes don't lie.
You're outmatched.
Look out.
Oh, wrong block. I was paying attention.
Please, my...
Here's your card.
Yeah, there's an expedition flag up there, so that tells me this is treasure goodies. There's another expedition map here. Or, not map, flag. That's deeply concerning. You're making Mael into a glass cannon. Should really up her defense at some point. Well, I'm gonna check out the other flag, because maybe the other flag is a terminal point. Like, I'm not going to 100% this game, but I do want to check out a good portion of it. Okay, so that is just a... That does seem to just be a lookout point, except... Dang it, game, I don't want to have to make decisions. Oh, I think... This is probably the correct way to go for now, and the other way's for the... Probably, maybe later game? Come back here, I don't know. Oh, good. It's another one of these creepy people. These shadow people. You may leave. I have no interest in speaking with you. There's no interest in speaking with any of us. Unless I haven't tried my ale. Oh, you're awake. Surprising. Have you sufficiently recovered? If so, then you can help. There's much left to do. What? I guess not, Pity. I'd hope to return to more important matters. But instead, I must occupy my time with this. What do you mean? What occupies time? An exercise in futility. This shadow person is different from the others that we've met, because the others are like stone people without a face. This is like someone who's being gommaged. I really don't have time for this. It's probably for the best that you don't get involved after what happened before. Go and play with your friends. I'll handle this. The woman has gone silent. Okay, you creepy. Do I need to rest? I should probably rest. 3 flags, and not one of them did I hit rest. Oh, hey, it's another one of these guys. I look forward to not figuring out his gimmick before losing. Hello, Patonk.
Coming.
Okay. This seems like a normal Patonk.
Take your shot.
Sucks. I don't want to be exhausted. Hey, I did it. I beat a Patonk. I beat the easiest Patonk there is. Because that one was just combat. Almost have enough for a new spell for Lune. Okay, so obviously the way forward is through the giant gates. So first let's explore this way. Look, a purple thing. Purple things are good things. And an expedition
Emily,
journal.
Expedition Wolf 41. My bag's getting weighed down from all my kills. Maybe I need to pick smaller trophies. Estelle bagged 7 of those armoured nevs. So I've got to get at least 8 in this next batch if I'm going to beat her. Leah showed me how to double up my weapon pictos. Might not be stable, but the bang's going to be worth it. The painters might be out of our reach, but her minions aren't. And if I die, I'm going to make sure I die big. Like Xavier says, subtlety is not our game. We only live till 40. So let's go make some friends.
Nice.
I really like the journal entries that we find of the various expeditions. They're very well done. They give really interesting sense of character to each group that came. Although the accents are a bit weird. I mean, if everything's supposed to be French, right? They just have an English accent
Good
there.
stuff.
Healing tints also apply powerful. That's pretty good. I don't feel like fighting a giant fire thing just for some money. They must be from the same part of France as Captain Picard. No, don't ruin it.
Looks like we passed the danger zone.
Jean-Luc Picard.
And no sign of your special Nevron.
Oh, I guess we're lucky.
There was something in there. Oh, it was probably one of the shields on that. That's exactly what it was. Okay, so there's one more. And there it is. We saw another one of those earlier today, and we did not find any of its anchors. Chroma Elixir Shard. Ooh, Expedition Journal.
Expedition 57, Carla. These siege engines seemed much more powerful in Lumiere. But on this battlefield, next to all these broken bodies, staring at the true size of the monolith, I feel despair. I dare not show my true feelings. As commander, I cannot yield to fear, but I can't help but wonder, is pressing forward the correct course of action? Our lives are forfeit anyway, but is there perhaps a better way to spend such precious coin?
Oh, this poor dude got duded to death. Death by Vuvuzela. Oh, hello. Crossing the sea was hard, but oof. Didn't expect to find a war zone brimming with Nevrons. Invert affinity. Apply inverted on self for 3 turns on start of battle. 50% increased damage while inverted. I'll buy that. Probably should have been buying all the colors of Lumina available.
Oh.
Okay, let's see. Well, take breaking shots off. Honestly, energizing start would be really nice on Mayel. Because she has that one ability. Because she starts in a virtuous stance, and then she has that ability that does a lot of damage with it. Yeah, auto shell can go away. Let's take AP on killing an enemy. Apply powerful when falling below 50% health. Yeah, we can change SOS power into energizing start. After my 3 hours of meetings, you are still streaming. I am, although I'm wrapping up very soon. Also, 3 hours of meeting is a big oof. It's 4 meetings if that's better. No, in fact, I think that might make it worse.
You holding up? We're almost there.
Holding up. Everywhere we go, just death. Death and more death. Everywhere we go, just death. I don't want to see that anymore.
Look, my Elliot.
I thought you would understand. You said you spent your immortality burying the people around you. Doesn't any of this bother you? And you. Gustav's dead. How can you keep going like nothing happened?
We need to continue.
Why do you...
Mayel. You know what we must do. When one falls, come on.
Mayel just said the quiet part out loud. That can't be good. Narrator voice. It was, in fact, not good. Oh, yeah. No. That was very well written. Okay, the design on that is beautiful and terrifying.
Are you hurt?
I'm fine.
They do love blood in the game.
Thanks.
Ready?
Well, I wasn't ready for a boss fight. I was supposed to wrap up in 2 minutes. But, I guess we're gonna go after this boss fight. You at least stay.
It's locked on you.
Nice countermail.
The dance begins.
Have you ever considered you were playing an RPG and a boss can be after, before, or during any cutscene? Well, I wasn't expecting a cutscene there. Inverted is this aspect that prevents the character from being healed. Okay, so it's zombie. It's
Here we go.
it's zombie status from
Not impressed.
Final Fantasy. Wrong button. Too early.
Incoming.
This is a really cool song.
I'm ready. A precise strike.
Eyes up, person.
Make this guy defenseless, why not?
Here we go. Bring it on.
Let's see, he's... You know what? I should really be applying Rush.
Okay.
Get dodged!
On guard.
I really wish I had something to create Virtuoso Stance. I think I do, and I think I just unequipped it. So this is French. They have German singing and chanting instead of Latin. Yeah. I mean, it's all part of the Frankishness of it. I've played for a bit. How do you feel about the parry dodge system versus traditional turn-based? Oh, I love it. I'm a huge fan of like the Mario RPG stuff, where a lot of that kind of came from. So to me, I'm like, yeah, this is great. I'm terrible at it, and that's why I have it on easy mode, or streamer mode, as I call it. Have you played played Bug Fable? Bug Fable? What? What is Bug Fable?
Let's carve a path.
I know the game Fable. The technical term is journalist mode. I'm not that bad. Also good to see you, Rainbow. Bug Fables, the everlasting sapling. I don't think I've even heard of that somehow. Oh, look. A cutscene. Why is it all choppy? Why is this cutscene in particular being choppy? Are you, phase 2? Sir, I have to go eat. You are not a Dark Souls boss. Why are you acting like it, sir? He has 3 arms. No, he has 4. Of course there's a second part of that attack now. Probably should have attacked there to put her into an offensive stance, but...
Careful now.
So many moves. Oh! Dingo's fake kidneys.
Careful now.
That attack is so rude. Yeah, I don't like Verso's perfection thing, to be honest. I miss Gustav's lightning arm. But, you know, we live here now.
You're outmatched. Here we go.
Yeah, rip Gustav.
Try me.
Play, Mark. Ah, I was pressing jump, not dodge. I don't know why. Should I buy you candies for dinner? Compromise? That's a terrible dinner.
My turn. Break.
Ready.
I always forget the end of that combo is a special kind. Saw pickleballs today, like cheese balls, but pickles. Almost bought it, not candy. Ugh. I'm having flashbacks. I am still inverted, so that's that haunch there.
Eyes don't lie.
Careful now.
I dodged that last one.
Here we go.
Wow, look how good I am. I'm doing so good. She wasn't even in the fight! You let me do cool stuff earlier. Why don't you let me do cool stuff now?
Well, turns out this Neveron wasn't that strong, but you did well. You learn fast.
All this. This is what we're fighting for.
Dueliso. Woo! Okay, what a place to end for the day. So thanks so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Join us again tomorrow for Wild Mender for Spirituality Tuesday, and Wednesday for Midweek Minecraft. I will not be streaming on Thursday. I have some company in town, so I'll be spending time with them. But yeah, thank y'all for being here. Thank you for joining along, and this story continues to be amazing and heavy. I mean, it's not an easy story to take, and I'll say that much. But I'm looking forward to seeing where it continues to grow. So yeah, so thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, all that good jazz. Thank you for checking out the YouTube and the Discord. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, and let's see who's live that we can raid into. I'm gonna send you on over to Gibbet the Frog. He's a VTuber. He's a friend of like Hal's and things. He's a cool dude. I think he's a lot of fun. But yeah, we're gonna raid him. Raid call is Father Raid. Spam the meat morp if you've got him. But yeah, hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care and God bless.